Excellent. All right. Hello, namaste, everyone, and welcome to Asana Sana Strength in the Asana Sana Yoga Studio. My name is Sana, and this class is a class that we do on Wednesday evenings at 5 p.m. And this class is focused on balance, dynamic flow, and flexibility throughout yoga. So this is something that is more going to be a little bit more vinyasa or power yoga based, getting your body moving and flowing through the evening time. Now, there is also modifications. If you'd like to hold yourself static within the poses, you certainly can, and you're welcome to do that as always. Again, I think I said at 5 o'clock Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. I have to always remember the time zone. So let's get ourselves started today. We're going to all meet here in Sukhasana, easy seat, and go ahead and switch your legs around, reassessing the legs, just making sure we have that proper balance in the legs throughout the day. And I'd like to start each class by grounding ourselves and setting our intentions for how we'd like to have our class this afternoon. I will share my intentions with you. I intend to take you all through a fun movement flow. Hopefully we get to move and open up the body in ways that maybe you haven't used before, or bringing yourself into familiar movements that you will have loved. So let's just allow our hands to rest on our laps here, either up or down. Fluttering your eyes closed if you feel all right with that. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And use this brief moment here to settle in, setting our intentions, getting ready to move into our yoga class. Excellent. Wonderful. All right, let's begin the class today by warming up. Let's flutter our eyes open if you already haven't. And let's start with warming up our neck. So let's just gently start to shake our head. Yeah, no, coming from right to left. Gently moving. No need to go fast. Going as fast or slow as your body allows. Warming up the muscles of the neck. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down, coming back into center. Let's start to nod our head yes here. Excellent. Opening up the muscles of the neck. Right, let's slow ourselves back down to center here. And let's rotate the head in a circle, any which direction you'd like. As big or as small as you like. Drawing circles with the nose. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down to center. Inhale, go in the opposite direction. Excellent. Let's slow our head movements down. Inhale our hands out to a T. Let's go ahead and turn our face over to the right, bringing that left arm down at a 45-degree angle. Let's use our right arm here to gently gesture our chin down, looking down at the floor, allowing the back of that neck on the left side to open up. And with each exhale, allow that fascia to open up just a little bit more. Excellent. Let's inhale that head up. Turn our head back to center. Let's drop our right ear onto our right shoulder here, allowing that right hand to gently help press, opening up the side of the neck. Keeping that left arm at a 45-degree angle. Excellent. Let's inhale our head up here. Exhaling that right arm out, dropping that down at a 45-degree angle. Let's tilt our head, bringing our left ear to our left shoulder, using our left hand to stretch out our neck. Excellent. Let's inhale that head up. Turning, looking to the left, just drop that chin, down on the floor. Let's use our left palm to extend the back of the neck, opening that right back side. Excellent. Let's inhale our arms back out to a T, exhaling that head to center, dropping our arms down to the mat. Let's start to warm up our shoulders. Inhaling, let's start to roll our shoulders forward and back in gentle circles, waking up the shoulders. Taking our last exhale, let's slow our arms down. This time as we inhale, sending our shoulders forward and down as we warm up the shoulders the opposite direction. Slowing our movements down. Let's bring our arms up, shaking out our wrists, waking up the bottom of our arms, wiggling out our elbows, as we will be using them a bit today. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down. Inhale those hands up overhead, turning to the right side. Let's exhale, coming into a seated twist. And as you exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper into each twist, waking up that spine. Now let's inhale the hands up, coming to center. Let's exhale as we drop ourselves and our hands to the left side, twisting over to the left. Exhaling deeper into those twists. Wonderful. Let's inhale the hands up, twisting to the front. Let's exhale as we drop our bodies forward, placing our hands flat on the mat, ensuring that our hips are still glued to the mat. So we're stretching out of our hip flexors and not rounding forward. Wonderful. Let's inhale, coming up to seated. Let's meet each other here into our tabletop position. And for alignment purposes, we just want to make sure our elbows are facing forward, the inside of our elbows, and they are directly situated over our wrists, and our shoulders are over our wrists as well. Let's keep our knees about hip width apart, and you can measure that with your fist, about the width of your fist apart. Slowly here, we're going to inhale, dropping our bellies, allowing our pelvis to tilt as we come into our cow pose. And let's exhale, curling the spine back the opposite direction, coming into cat. And let's move here with our breath as we continue to warm up the spine. This movement also helps us to warm up our wrists as well. Let's keep going here for 2 more breaths. And on that last inhale, curling up, really pushing ourselves, arching that back. And as we exhale, dropping, let's find ourselves situated back into our tabletop pose. And then let's come into our next pose. We're just going to shift our weight over to our left side. Let's take our right hand, inhaling. Exhale, let's send that underneath the left arm, dropping ourselves down to the mat, coming into thread the needle pose. Breathing here. We stretch out the top of our back. Excellent. Let's inhale ourselves back up to our tabletop position. And exhale, let's go on the other side, coming into thread the needle. It's always a fun pose to do while live in class because I can't actually see you. I guess I'll have to grow eyes in the back of my head. Let's inhale ourselves back up to tabletop. And our next pose is child's pose, and I'd like to let you come into yogi's choice. However, keep your arms extended out in front as we will be doing some twisting. So I'm going to exhale myself, dropping down into an extended child's pose, holding here for a brief moment before we start our flow. Now, how this is going to work in our flow while you guys are sitting here through our child's pose, some movements will be static and other movements will have a dynamic flow pattern to go with them. If you'd like to, you are welcome to keep up with the dynamic flow pattern. If not, you are welcome to holding that pose, because sometimes I do it too. It's awful nice to do it. So, letting our last exhale come from this static child's pose. Let's inhale, walking our hands over to the right. Briefly exhale, stretching ourselves over to the right, feeling the left side body opening up. Inhale our hands up. Let's walk ourselves over to the left. Exhaling, really pulling yourself, stretching out that right side body. And let's start our dynamic flow. Coming back to center, we'll see ourselves back into tabletop once more. We'll be moving into a tiger cat crunch. So if you'd like to hold yourself steady, you can just bring up your back right foot and your left front hand and hold here steady while we move through our flow. Or you may come into a crunching position. And to get into our tiger position, just shift your weight over to the left side. Inhale that right foot up into the back, flexing that foot extended straight behind you. Shifting our weight then back up to our right hand. Let's inhale that left hand out in front of you, coming into our tiger pose. And let's start our flow. With our inhale, let's crunch ourselves inward. And with an exhale, pushing ourselves outward. So that once more. Inhale and exhale. The whole time, let's keep ourselves nice and stable, keeping our core muscles tight, using that as a balance. And we're going to do this for 3 more breaths on this side. And let's inhale. Exhale, 2 more breaths. Inhale. You guys are doing great. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. Bringing it out. Exhale. Holding here for a moment. And now dropping to release. Coming back into our tabletop. I like to sit back on my feet just for a moment to open out my wrists, because sometimes it's hard moving on your wrists during a dynamic movement. So, great. Let's get ourselves back into tabletop here. Back into all fours. Let's drop our heads, looking at our feet. Let's tuck our toes. And as we inhale, sending an exhale, let's sending those hips up into the air, coming into our downward dog. From here, we're going to move into a dynamic movement flow for downward dog into an upward dog. If you'd like, you may hold yourself in your downward dog or in our upward dog for the entirety of the flow movement pattern, or you may join at our breath. So let's get started. Inhale. Let's inhale ourselves forward, dropping into that upward dog. Taking a deep inhale. Let's send those hips as we exhale, coming back into our downward dog. And feel free to walk out your feet in between in our downward dogs. Inhale. Let's exhale as we come forward into our upward dog. Wonderful. And let's inhale, send those hips right into the back, coming into that downward dog. And let's do this at our own pace and movement for the next 4 breaths. So inhale. Two more breaths. Inhale, looking up. Last one, dropping the hips. Inhale. Let's exhale, sending the hips to the sky, resting here in this downward dog, walking out our feet. Woo! What a flow. All right. And we have one more movement pattern before we switch over to the left side. Keeping ourselves in this downward dog position. We're just going to inhale our right leg up into the sky. And as we exhale, come forward into a bird dog of sorts. So again, hold the flow here if you'd like to in your downward dog. If not, let's join that dynamic flow movement as we exhale. Inhale, sending that foot back up into the sky. Everyone join in. Exhale. And I won't make you guys do this for long. Let's do this for 4 more breaths at your own rhythm. Last 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Really make it count. Pointing up to the sky. Exhaling. Let's send ourselves back into our downward dog. Widening those feet. Let's bend the knees, dropping them to the mat. Inhaling a little bit forward. Exhale. Let's drop into yogi's choice. Child's pose. Woo! That was quite a movement flow. All right. Now, this is normally an hour-long class, so with this, we'll have a little bit more movement, a little bit more static, but I like to encourage people to kind of listen to their bodies with this flow because it's almost like a primal play kind of a thing. It reminds me of being a kid playing in monkey bars. So, excellent. Let's inhale ourselves back up here into tabletop. I'm going to turn around for your benefit so you can see me, and we're just going to do the same flow right on the left side. So shifting our weight back to that right knee, back knee. Inhale that left leg up, exhaling it straight out. Let's shift over to the left hand. Inhale that right hand out and forward, holding here if you'd like. If not, let's join in our breath flow as we inhale, crunching ourselves in, and exhale, releasing the arms out. Inhale, crunching in. Exhale, coming out. And let's continue this movement pattern for 4 more breaths at your own rate. Exhale. In. 2 more breaths. Last one, let's do it. Bringing it in. Let's exhale, sending that arm out. Taking an inhale, let's exhale as we drop our knee and hand back down into the mat. Let's inhale as we curl our toes, sending the hips up into the sky with an exhale, coming into our downward dog. Let's walk out our feet a little bit, just once more, getting ourselves into this position and resting. And from here, let's start our upward dog, downward dog flow. So we're exhale here. Let's inhale as we come forward into our upward dog. Exhale, send your hips up into the sky. Inhale, dropping the hips. Exhale, hips to the sky. And let's do this for 4 more breaths, going at your pace. Inhale. 2 more breaths. In. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, sending the hips up into the sky, landing in our downward dog. And let's go ahead and walk those feet out. Guys are doing great. Excellent. And for this flow, taking our left leg, we're going to come into that 3-legged dog crunch flow. And if you'd like, holding yourself in your 3-legged dog during the flow, perfectly cool. But for those of you who'd like to join along, let's inhale that left leg this time up into the sky. Exhale, bringing it forward. Inhale, shooting the left leg back up into the sky. Exhale, bring it forward. And let's move here into our pattern of breath 4 more times. You guys are doing great. Two more breaths. Last one, really stretching that left leg up into the sky. Feeling it, exhaling. Coming down, releasing into that bird dog. Inhale ourselves back up into that downward dog. Dropping our knees to the mat. Let's shake out our wrists. Widening our legs. Let's relax ourselves down, coming into a wide legs. Child's pose for just a moment before we start the second most fun part, the cool down. Wonderful. Let's inhale ourselves back up to a tabletop. And let's find ourselves turning, coming to seated lengthwise on the mat. from here, since we did a lot of bending the other way, we'll have to bend the other way to kind of counterpose ourselves. So let's keeping our feet pointed, keeping them nice and engaged. If you need to, you can go ahead and slide your feet a little bit down so that you have a little bit more leverage. We're going to come into a reverse plank, but let's keep our hands, fingers pointing forward, right around the hips. Let's take an inhale as we push our hands into the mat. Exhale, dropping the feet down, straight ahead of you, if it's within your practice. If not, you can remain bottom to the mat as we open up our head, coming into that reverse plank. And just breathe here, holding your hips up as we catch our breath, recentering ourselves in our yoga class. Excellent. Let's take an inhale as we exhale, bringing those hips down. Let's bring our arms up and exhale, forward fold, grabbing your big toes, pulling from our hip flexors, ensuring that we're not rounding forward. Letting the body be. Excellent. Let's inhale ourselves back up again, scooching our bottoms forward. Let's exhale, laying back. Relaxing on the mat. Let's inhale those feet up into the sky. Exhale, bend your knees and go ahead and grab your feet coming into happy baby pose. And you can either grab your big toes or the sides of your feet, however you'd like. But here, let's open out our hips. Think about how much fun we had in our class here a moment ago in our dynamic movement flow. As we use this last grounding pose before we go into our Shavasana, the most fun part of class, personally. Wonderful. Let's take a last exhale as we release. And as this is a 30-minute class, you are welcome to take your Shavasana laying down or seated up in Sukhasana if you'd like. But I really want you to pick a Shavasana pose and to use these last few moments of class to center and ground yourself and really applaud yourself for being here this evening, or excuse me, this afternoon. So let me give you guys a moment. Everybody get nice and settled in, and I'll keep my eye on the clock. Excellent. We're all situated. Let's just take a deep inhale, filling up the lungs, filling up the belly, holding it for just a moment. Exhaling, allowing your eyes to flutter close as we come into our Shavasana. And let's revisit those intentions that you started in class. I believe that I led you all through a fun dynamic movement flow. And I thank you all for coming. And I hope you all had fun with me as well. And before we come up from our very, very brief Shavasana, I would like to read for you a passage from the Daily Stoic. This passage is on circumstances have no care for our feelings. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they do not care at all. Marcus Aurelius. A significant chunk of Marcus Aurelius's meditations is made up of short quotes and passages from other writers. This is because Marcus wasn't necessarily trying to produce an original work. Instead, he was practicing, reminding himself here and there of important lessons, and sometimes these lessons were things he had read. This particular quote is special because it comes from a play by Euripides, which, except for a handful of quoted fragments like this, is lost to us. From what we can gather about the play, Bellerophon, the hero, comes to doubt the existence of the gods. But in this line, he is saying, why bother getting mad at causes and forces far bigger than us? Why do we take these things personally? After all, external events are not sentient beings. They cannot respond to our shouts and cries, and neither can the mostly indifferent gods. That's what Marcus was reminding himself of here. Circumstances are incapable of considering or caring for your feelings, your anxiety, or your excitement. They don't care about your reaction. They are not people. So stop acting like getting worked up is having an impact on a given situation. Situations don't care at all. And let's allow ourselves to rest as we think of those words in our Shavasana. And let's begin to take our last breaths of Shavasana, and ever so slowly, resisting the urge to wake up all at once. Allow movement to come into your body by slowly wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers. Let's work our way up by rolling our ankles and rolling our wrists. Begin to wiggle and bounce your legs and your arms. Slowly wiggle about in your laying position. Inhale, stretching your arms and your legs out overhead, allowing yourself to take full space up on your mat. Exhaling yourself, relaxed. And if it's possible, keeping your eyes closed. Let's roll yourself to one side or the other, cradling your head in your arms. And let's push ourselves back up into seated, resting easy in Sukhasana. From here, let's inhale the hands up overhead and exhale them down into peace pose. And softly flutter your eyes open if you haven't already. Well, thank you everyone for joining me in class this evening or this afternoon. I keep saying this evening because I'm used to it being the evening. I'm going to come a little closer. I had such a wonderful time with you all, and I hope you enjoyed the Asana Sana Strength. Again, this is a Wednesday evening class at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you'd like to join live. If not, there are access you can tap into in the video on demand library. I had such a wonderful time with you all. I will be in the cool down room if you guys have any questions and would like to chat. So I'll see you all there.
Hello.
Hello. Hang on one second.